Hello YouTube, Price Mall here again. Today I'm gonna do an update on the carburetor on the DLX. Okay, my son was able to find a piece that will replace the part that I modified, the previous part that I bought for this and the carburetor, the Nibbi, and he was able to find the correct one with the right size and everything to adapt it to the bike. Okay, the part number here, I'm gonna list it, but just wanted to show it here on the video, just like I did the other one. And basically, we're replacing or taking out the carb from this section here, which is just the two bolts already adapted. I'll take out these hose, take out these two bolts here, and move this here to be able to integrate this into that. Okay, right now I got a rubber one, as you can see. I had to modify it, and once I take it on, I'll show it real quick. But this will actually be the portion that plugs into that to be able to put then this here that came with the kit that he bought, which like I think it was like $11 for the kit, and it was for this little manifold here, the gasket with the two screws, this clamp, and obviously this. What I was going to show is that I actually removed, since I didn't have screws for when I actually adapted the one I put in there, so I still have the standoffs for the old one. Okay, well, that I removed to be able to put the screws, but this is just a nut here, and that's the standoff. This will also fit the new one, so it will actually be something like that. Okay, and obviously that's the standoff that goes on the original manifold, which is that they go integrated there because they got the thread on both sides, so then that will go. So if you rather go this route, which is I think what we're gonna do, depending on how easy it is, I don't want to dismantle the whole bike, again, take out the tank and all of that, so I may end up using the standoff, that standoff there, and integrating it there. If I was to use the screw that came with it, it's a Phillips head screw, quite short, and actually will fit here, and then it just adapts to that. Once I take it out, we may be able to do that, or I may go ahead and do that instead, and adapt it properly. But the only problem with that is that if I ever have to take this out, I have to remove the whole section to undo it, which is probably okay. We'll see which way it works, but at the same time, I don't want to break anything or cross thread anything. I don't know if those threads will work at all with the new screws, so we'll see. Once we get there, like I said before, we cross the bridge and go from that portion. Okay, other than that, let's get that going and then continue. And just one quick note, the reason why I'm doing that is not because this is broken, but it actually developed a bit of a leak. Okay, so if you ever decide to buy any of these things, there is, unless you put RTV there or gasket material, you will have a small leak, and then air will seep through there into the engine instead of through the carburetor, and then you'll start running lean. So that's basically the reason why we decided to go with this instead. Okay, other than that, let's keep going and go from there. So just undoing the clamp, which are the only few things that have to be that has to be loosened up, and then already undid the screws here. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so once this is removed, you push it down. Once the back is loose, it will basically come right off. Leave the carb in there. And now we have this section here, as you can see, is the all wrong. So let's keep going. Let's dismantle this and put the new part in. Yeah. So after further investigation, you could see that was like all rigged up in there. I just wanted to show that it's got a gap. It has a gap in here. I mean, you probably be able to see it. Yeah, I don't see any light. What I do know is that once the bike gets warm, decelerating, I can hear the popping. Before I couldn't hear that. So anyways, this is gonna be removed and the other pieces put there instead. Okay, so as you can see, you see how this circled right here, you see the edge was hardly in there, so that's where the air was going in. Now when we put the new part in there, it lines up pretty much perfectly, and then once it's turned around, you could see that all of the edges and yeah, everything lines up properly. So that particular piece should work from a 26 millimeter all the way up to a 30. Okay, so this will actually sit properly. One thing, if you do get this piece, you can tell that there's less space from here to here than from here to here. You can see this is not centered. Okay, so you have to be sure that you line it up properly when you put it here. And as you can see, this section does basically the same thing. You have to be sure you put this, line it up properly against that. Okay, if not, it's just not gonna be seated properly. As you can tell right here, there's more space from here to here, which is the middle, than from here to here. Okay, so this is flatter than this particular piece right here. So just pay attention to that. You should be able to see it when you install this. Okay, that's the only thing that, I mean, these are casted on soft on a soft mold. So I mean, I would think that this is just made in a rush, the correct way in a sense, but in a big rush. I don't know what material this is, but anyways, let's keep going. So we're basically using the ones, the Allen bolts I had before that we found. I mean, if you don't have anything like this, I have plenty of hardware in the garage, so these are the same, so we're gonna actually use these. I like the Allen better, and it all fits perfectly there, and there's enough room on this side, you see, so where it'll actually grab into this, and the Allen will allow us to actually put it there perfectly. Okay, so we're actually gonna use those, not what came with the kit. Okay, so we got the gasket here. Shouldn't really matter which way you put it, whether like this or like this, but we chose to do that. Okay, then go there, then do that, tighten it by hand, then that one, and it's definitely a much better fit than the rubber one we had. The gasket, that is the one that came with the kit, by the way. Okay, and I mean, you could see how the fit already looks the part, and if you see here, I mean, you could see the difference. Okay, so this would actually be definitely much better. You could always trim the gasket, not a big deal. I think it'll be okay. So we'll continue. So we decided, after all, to go with the hardware that came over, or that came with the with these with that piece, because when we tried to retrofit this piece, it would not go all the way down flush, and with those it should go. This needs to go as far down as possible. Okay, so we decided not to go with the bolts with the bolts that we're gonna put in there, the Allen ones. Okay, so yeah, with these are the ones that I found in the garage. So the heads are just too high. Okay. Okay, so after adapting the pieces together, it actually goes like that. This will go there like that. You can see the contour. This will go to the carburetor, but yeah, you see it fits. I won't say completely flush, but that's okay. That's as flush as it's gonna get. Then we're gonna put the, yeah, that's really flush. And then we're gonna put the clamp. Now, tighten it up, and that should be it. I loosened up the one in the rear back here, and the back there. That way, we're able to move the carburetor a little and make it flex. But that should all fit properly. There's enough give on the airbox to where it allows you to push the carburetor a little bit further back. Okay, so you see it flexes, and then everything will fall in place, and then we'll just retrofit everything, put it in place. Okay, so as you can see, that's the adaptation of it. Goes like that. 2 clamps. This one's already tight. This one is loose. That fits perfectly there. Doesn't seem to have any gaps. It's right in the middle, which is perfect, just like the kit describes. Okay, so that should be pretty much perfect. So now what we're gonna do, put a little bit of soapy water here. Okay, and then we're gonna press it into the carburetor, and then basically push the front part into this gasket here and put the two bolts, and basically just start it up and test it out. Okay, so we ended up trimming a little bit of the rubber tube that came with the kit. Basically, you want to trim from the edge to the first section here. You don't want to go any further than that, because then the carburetor lip is it may slip out, and you don't want that. So you want to keep that edge in there. That way the lip of the carburetor can fall in there, in that channel, and when you put the clamp, it will stay. Now, as you can see, that one is correctly seated all the way around, and you should have some space. Okay, so we just need to fix that real quick. But anyways, you'll be able to see that it sits all the way down. Okay. Okay, so we got that in there. Took the both of us, and as you can see, it's still a little loose. These are loose. That one's loose. Basically, what we had to do is trim this black piece, which came with the kit. Use the screws that came with the kit, and loosen up the bolt for the airbox. Had to still remove the tank and the one side for the trimming. Then we found a couple of hoses that were not connected, and we found where they go. One goes here. Okay, there is a hose that comes from the solenoid in the front. Okay, which goes under the tank, and this one here, it comes from the crankcase. So that one was disconnected to begin with anyway. I can put a filter eventually, which is fine. But anyways, going back to this, we loosen this up, trim this like I said, and this like I said, and then now we're gonna tighten those up. That one, and you can see it, you can see it from the other side. And this one, okay. Now the original gasket is in there. The other gasket, it's already there in between. Okay, and we'll tighten it up.